Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, only T minus 48 hours until I go to Houston, Texas. Hopefully to go on my very last first date before I get married. I'm very optimistic about that because Mary Curry had arranged this. It's on the 100-year anniversary of one of the best days of her life that this girl was born, and I have good feelings about this. And I am done. I am so done with single life after what had happened this week. I got into a conflict with two of my roommates, and a big part of why I have to live with shitty roommates is because I only have one income, right? If there were two incomes to pay for a place, we could have either have better quality roommates or have a place to ourselves, right? I would actually prefer to have better quality roommates because connections are very important to me in this day and age. I made the mistake when I first moved to Phoenix 2.5 years ago. I buried my head in my career. I didn't make a whole lot of friends, and I feel I've hit a wall with my career because of lack of connectivity. I really have, with both my day job at the community college and with my art career. I can't tell you how many times at my day job I lose out to somebody in any sort of competition, in large part because I don't have a good name. The students could name off other professors and not me. And so I've learned to have good rapport, even with students who are not my students, right? So, for example, I have a former student who I still have very good rapport with, and I share with him about funny things that go on in my life, right? So, for example, how I went to a Super Bowl party the other day, or the asking people to swipe left on my profile, and how that worked out for me. And so, my funniest story with him was that I was showing him the swipe left profile, and one day, this really cringy girl was on there, and I showed him, and I asked him if he could take a picture of my screen before I swipe left on the profile because I wanted to share it with other friends. And while doing it, he took my phone and was about to take a screenshot, but he accidentally swiped right on the profile instead, and it was a match. And so I didn't want to let the student down, so I went to see the girl anyway, and then I shared my experience with him. But it pays to have good rapport like that. I've learned. Depending, obviously I wouldn't recommend showing a swipe left profile to every student you run across, but depending on the vibe of it, it's worthwhile to have some good chemistry with everybody. But I made the mistake of not doing that when I first moved to Phoenix. Last year, I had a bad case of long COVID, and I was alone. I didn't have a whole lot of connectivity, and I got. Long story short, I did not get good treatment because I didn't have the good connectivity with that. But I run into a lot of barriers being single in two regards. Number one, I don't have as many resources, right? But number two, even trying to get there and meet the right person and hopefully eventually get married has a huge wall, a barrier of some sort. Let me give you an example. 2 days ago when we were watching the Super Bowl, I was getting ready to, another friend of mine was nice enough to set me up on this blind date, and in return I was going to give her a reward. She's religious, and I know it means a lot to her. I was going to pour a holy cross out of silver. Silver has a much higher melting point than bismuth, and I wanted to make it out of silver because she wanted to wear it as jewelry. Bismuth and all the other low melting point metals aren't nearly as durable for doing that. And so I had fired up my furnace, and my roommate, the owner of the place, had his big screen TV, soundbar, and a bunch of other equipment set up. And when I plugged in the furnace, it's you guys have seen it's a Vivor furnace, about 1,000 watts. When I plugged it in, it tripped everything. And my roommate was really upset. His favorite commercial had come on or something on the TV, and it tripped and the TV shut off. and he has a smart TV. It takes a couple minutes to fire up. He was really upset, and it just goes to show, even going from single to hopefully eventually married has a huge paywall barrier, if you will, and unfortunately, I live with it. I live with all the barriers of being single, having to share the place, having no money to have some of the nicer things in life, and even trying to get to the other side of the equation has its own set of barriers. I still don't have that silver holy cross yet. I don't know what to do now because I can't find time that my roommates are not here. The other day, I was trying to ask all my roommates when they might be away, and they were upset. They thought I was being intrusive asking that. I was very nice. I just have some things that are going to take up some room, and it wouldn't be a good time to do this. It wasn't like I was trying to stalk them or anything, and they were very offended by that question, right? And okay, hopefully the situation in Phoenix will pan out, and I'll never have to deal with this again. So pray for me by leaving a like on this video. This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.